Hello, everyone. This is Loretta Stronowski from Remax Fine Properties. Welcome to another episode of Living in Arizona. And today we have a very special guest with us, Andy, who is can I call you the CEO and founder?
Yes.
Of Lexie's Voice. And it's a very intriguing, heartwarming, interesting story. Thank you so much for coming on today. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your daughter and how her story has sparked your mission?
Well, I'm a native Arizonan, so I love Arizona and I'm staying here. Both of my parents are from North Dakota. They came out here to take care of my grandmother who needed a better climate. And then I was given a girl with special needs, and she has a twin sister who does not have any special needs, and she has a little sister. And I was given this gift of a girl with special needs as I went through a divorce and through trying to find someone to help me with finding out, they said, okay, she's got cerebral palsy. She's got developmental delays. Through some of her therapies, I met a family and a boy that had autism. And I said, the therapist and I, we were all looking at each other and we're like, they're the same age. They're going through the same things. She has a little bit of cerebral palsy, but she really has autism. Mm-hmm. So I went back to my doctors and I said, gosh, you guys, she really has this. And they wouldn't really listen. So she's going on 3. And they said, we really don't diagnose children this young, but it's boys. It's 1 in 300 boys has autism. So I started on this journey of how do I get this little girl diagnosed with autism so I can get more help for her. She can learn. They said, well, she's got cerebral palsy. She won't crawl. She won't walk. But she crawled and she walked. She was a little delayed, but she did it. So they put her in a pre-kindergarten classroom, and that little boy had autism. And it was the start of a new program in the Scottsdale Unified School District. And they just sort of said, well, her diagnosis is cerebral palsy. His diagnosis is autism. She can't go into the classroom that he's going to go into. But no doctor would give me the autism diagnosis. So I had a little fight there. And I said, okay, she doesn't belong in this classroom with, the kids in wheelchairs and feeding tubes and blind, very disabled. And the gal that ran that program said, you know what, you're absolutely right. Let's figure something out. And so I found the Arizona voucher. The Arizona voucher was for parents and families that found a better way to educate their children. So I got an Arizona voucher. And the Arizona voucher said I could take my state allocated funds and put her into the private school system, which I did. Got the Arizona voucher. The ACLU and the teachers union said, you know what? It's not constitutional for you to take those dollars and put them into a private school. I became the defendant and learned how to fight for the constitutionality of that. We won, or we lost. We lost in the Court of Appeals. But then in that little bit of time, the 500 plus kids were going to be ousted out of their program. And we passed something called Lexie's Law, which is a tax credit law. So in all of this time, we got back the Arizona voucher program. We had Lexie's Law, which is another way to educate these kids. And then we started working on the what is now called the Empowerment Scholarship Accounts, which now to this day educates over 100,000 students. So in all of this time, over the course of the last she's 24 now, 24 years, I've been able to educate her. I've helped start with other teachers and mothers, a few programs, schools, equine therapy programs. And I just thought, this girl can learn. Girls have autism. It may look different, but there's more for them than just a school program. They need life skills. They need more help. So I took it upon myself to start my own nonprofit, and that's how Lexie's Voice came to be.
How would you verbalize the experience of navigating what you went through with the Arizona support system?
Very difficult. Not exactly welcoming. But once I brought it to their attention, they were willing to help me.
So
It was
it
just,
was just a matter of it was just something new.
yes,
They didn't know how to handle it, and people kind of always, well, that's something we never encountered before. They don't know what to do about it.
yes, that's exactly right. That's exactly it.
And so, what did you see was the key factor that was missing for a support landscape for families like yours?
Getting out in front and asking for help and saying we need more.
Mhm.
And, it's always that it goes back to something simple. The squeaky wheel always gets the oil.
Right.
And the more we brought it to the forefront, parents deserve choice. Parents know what their kids need. So school choice became a really big national movement. And I was able to be a part of that. And having the choices to be able to educate her changed the trajectory of her entire life. And being able to teach other families and parents has changed the trajectory of a lot of lives. And that is going to be the greatest thing I've ever done with my life.
And so, if I ran into you in the elevator and you had a little button that said Lexie's Voice, what is your elevator speech to me when I say, what is Lexie's Voice?
Lexie's Voice empowers families raising individuals with autism and other intellectual or developmental disabilities by providing advocacy, education, resources, or actually the direct support. We strengthen the entire family unit, the parents, the siblings, and the caregivers. We connect families to grants and programs and support services and equipped teens and young adults with life skills. And I'm now creating an inclusive community space where individuals of all abilities are valued and empowered to be exactly who they are.
How are families finding you currently?
Currently, it's word of mouth.
Mhm.
And, I'm starting to do a little more press, and I'm starting to talk more about it. Lexie, my daughter, 24 years old, she's the population. Everybody that you talk to now has been touched with autism or a developmental delay or a neurodivergent diagnosis. Someone everywhere has been touched by it. It's 1 in 36 children that has some type of autism or developmental delay. That's a lot of people in the world. So our population, what I call our population, because she is nonverbal or non-speaking, but can completely communicate with her iPad. But she's not going to go and live on her own. She never will. She will always need somebody in her around her, but she can do anything. She'll, if the house was on fire, she's not going to get out. She's going to need someone to say, okay, Lexie, the house is on fire. Let's go.
Okay.
But she's going to go. She can tell you, I'm hungry. I want this. I want to go swing. I want to go to the aquarium. I want to go ride the horse. I want to go out and see the cows. It's time. She can tell you what time of day it is for what activity that they're supposed to be doing. And she doesn't have a watch.
Wow. So if I have a child that has autism and I stumble upon hear this podcast and I contact you, what can you provide my family with? What are the services that you
The
provide?
services Lexie's Voice offers a life skills tutoring program. We're kind of a bridge that helps some of the behavioral kids as if they can't fit into a private school or they can't fit into the public school, we bridge that gap and help them behaviorally get to that next spot. Or we offer I'm getting ready to offer, well, right now I offer parents how do they best utilize what is available to them. Some families don't realize that the state offers the Division of Developmental Disabilities. The state offers occupational, physical, speech therapy, habilitation, respite. I help them navigate the system so that they can get all of the help that there is for them. I help them navigate whether it's, Lexie's Law raises $22 million in scholarships. I help them get a scholarship for a private school. I help them navigate that system. I also helped, form the empowerment scholarship accounts that educates over 100,000 students and now is universal for all students. I have 5 children. Not all of them have special needs. Parents should be able to choose what their child needs, whether it's a private school or a public school. So I help them navigate the Empowerment Scholarship account and getting them on that program, helping them find programs for their kids. And I've helped start an equine therapy program, getting alternative therapies for their children.
So obviously you went through this kind of wading through the mud without answers and stuff. What are the most common struggles like when a family's child gets the diagnosis? What's the number one? Oh my God.
Not knowing where to start.
Mhm.
What do I do now? And sometimes it's just saying it's going to be okay. This isn't so hard to navigate. This isn't the end of the world. This is just really the beginning. This is the beginning of a beautiful story. It can be beautiful. I have come across people that if I didn't have Lexie, I would never have met the majority of people that are in my life today. Speaking of my husband, I wouldn't have the 2 boys that I have now. I have 2 older boys and I was able to raise them. I met my husband because I had a special needs daughter, and she basically, I met him through a friend and she chose him. And I was like, I'm never getting married again. And she was like, oh yes, you are. And here he is. And he has now adopted my girls, and we've raised 5 amazing children. And you get to look at life in a different way. God doesn't make mistakes. He gives every single one of these families that has a special child, he gives us these children because he knows they're going to be safe with us.
Mhm. Now I know you said you're an Arizona native. Does the level or different types of care differ throughout the state? And are you familiar with other states and what they offer?
I know California does a great job. I know that Lexie's Law is in a little over 30 plus states. The Empowerment Scholarship account went universal in Nevada first. Arizona was second. And I know a lot of other states are adopting that. I know states are doing a very good job at supporting families now. I just happened to go through it when, 24 years ago, it wasn't as easy to navigate.
Yeah.
And now states are doing a much better job.
So, what about financial and cultural backgrounds from a family? Does that play a role in them being able to access resources?
No, it doesn't. There's scholarships and using what the government offers us. It's just using the resources that are out there for you. They're out there. Hmm.
And do you have a story, a success story that you can share about a family that you've worked with? I'm
I
sure you have
do.
lots.
I have a lot, but I actually have one that's really, really close to my heart right now. So there's a family that moved here from Boston, and I spoke to his dad for a little over a year before they moved out here. Just talking to him, helping him get set up with DDD, the state, this what the government offers for kids on this for kids with disabilities, and helping them get settled, moved here, and just giving them advice as to he's 30 years old and he's never been in any other home other than his own home. And they wanted to move closer to her family. So we talked it through. I met him a dozen times here before they moved just to have coffee, just to walk him through the DDD government help, just to walk him through, okay, we're going to pack up his room, but you're going to pack up his room and you're going to have him help, and you're going to make his room look exactly the same as it did in his other house, and you're going to move it here and put it together exactly as it was. I did it. I bought it. We have a house up north, and we built a room onto our house to look exactly like her room in this house that we live in now.
That makes her feel.
It makes her feel safe and comfortable. And so it was actually happening at the same time as they were trying to move here from Boston. And it worked. And we have Alex in our day program. And he did great. He's doing great. He's thriving. So for me, just knowing that I helped a family be where they want to be and he's happy and thriving is everything. I've been given so much through the community and from the state to be able to educate a child that back then they didn't want to diagnose or educator, that it is my life's work to give back to the community and help every family that I come in contact with and show them that there are so many resources and our kids can do anything if we just give them the right tools.
How do you work with schools and healthcare systems?
Right now, I work just directly with the parents.
Okay.
And if a school calls me, I usually just work with the parents.
Okay. And how can Arizona's residents support your mission?
Well, they can support my mission because I just bought a ranch off of Scottsdale Road and Cactus. And I'm going to, I've been waiting for someone over the course of the last 20 years to build a YMCA or a Boys and Girls Club type space where our population can have a space that's all their own.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided I'm going to do it myself. So we're getting ready I just took down 20 horse stalls and I'm going to build a activity barn that's going to look like the inside of a YMCA so that they have that kind of space that's just for them, that they can unapologetically be themselves, that it's their safe place, their family's safe place, their siblings' safe place. They're going to have equine therapy. I'm going to run an after school program, a place that's just for our population and our families.
And so they'll be able to come there for the day, ride horses,
yes.
Whatever.
Mm-hmm. We're going to, yes. And I have a petting zoo. I'm building a petting zoo. I have 2 Highland cows. So they're those little mini cows, is Pepper and Linny. They're the loves of my life. They keep me calm. I get to go out there. They keep everybody calm. They're really like giant golden doodles, but they're cows. And we have a 33-year-old horse that just lets the kids love on him and braid his hair and walk him, and they care for him. So he'll live out his twilight years with us.
Oh, that's great. So you have the horse, you have the 2 cows. Do you have any other animals?
We're on our way to chickens. In March, we'll have a chicken coop, and we have a turtle named Tuck, a desert tortoise, and we got him when he was just about 3 days old out of his little hatchling, and so now he's about a year old. So we're getting ready to build him his own habitat on the ranch.
Oh, that's great. No dogs yet?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet, but
We might
there
have
will
to
be.
talk about that with the rescue.
Yes, and that's what we're willing to do. We're trying to put one animal on at a time, so that we really support Lexie's Voice, raises money, and we really support our staff and our caregivers, because as families, we can't do, moms and dads, we can't do and take care of our kids with these disabilities without our caregivers, without our therapists, without our teachers. And they don't get paid much to do what they love.
Right.
So I make sure that if someone's car breaks down, if someone's computer breaks down, if they have a doctor's bill, if they need to take a day off without pay, I provide little quick grants so that these caregivers, if my music therapist, if her guitar gets broken, our kids aren't going to get music therapy for how long? Until she can afford to fix her guitar.
Mm-hmm.
So Lexie's Voice raises money to make sure that all of these therapists, and if their car battery dies, they're not going to get to where they need to be, and a family suffers.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly. And what is your vision for the next 5 years?
I want to get my ranch up and going and I'm doing it slow and doing it right, so that I can have 10 of these all across. One in Tempe, one in Mesa, one in Gilbert. Our population is a population that needs a little extra hand holding, but can still do anything.
Do you know offhand the number of the population in Arizona?
No, these adults are typically the ones you don't see. They're at home with their parents or their grandparents.
Right. If you could wave a wand and have something magical occur, one thing in the Arizona system, what would it be?
It would be that somebody took this on and wanted to help me and said, let's do this. Let's build these. Let's get these kids out of their houses and in a place where they can be unapologetically themselves.
Okay, that's awesome. And what do you want people to understand about families with special needs?
That they want to be like everybody else, and they want to be, if they could be with their friends, if they could be at that Super Bowl party with their child, they would be. If they could go and be more social, they would be. Don't forget about us. It's hard.
Right. And what's one thing you would say to a parent who's feeling isolated because of a recent diagnosis?
Call someone and talk about it. They will understand. You just have to be willing to be vulnerable and share what you're feeling, because you're not alone. You're not alone.
How does one follow you on social media? What's your handles? And
Lexie's Voice
directly.
They can follow me. I have a website. It's lexiesvoice.org. You can reach out to me and find me that way. We're also on Facebook. You can reach out to me that way, and on Instagram, lexiesvoice.org or Lexie's Voice. You can find me and get me anyway. And I'm the one you'll get. I'm the one you'll get.
That's great. That's the one we want. So we're going to post those links for everyone after the show. And if you're interested in donating or helping out, then that would be great. Thank you so much, Andy, for sharing your wonderful story we'll definitely, you'll have to keep us updated on how things go.
Well, thank you for taking the time and being interested in us and
Yeah.
for letting me have this platform. Thank you so much.
Have a wonderful rest of your week.
You too. Thank
Take
you.
care.